Hello, hello, hello all, and welcome to the F1 stream with yours truly, Lordy Boy. Just checking the game. It appears we have no game sound. Having a few issues, pardon me, with PSN. I will be your solo commentator tonight as well. Thought I should mention because Leon is away for God knows what reason, but Leon is away. So it's just me tonight, and not a very good turnout as well in the F1 grid. We've had a few leavers, KB and Decky, unfortunately parting ways with F1 due to other commitments in other leagues and other commitments in their home life. Also, we have Cameron Anderson, who has been kicked from the league for, I believe, continuous dirty driving, and he just wasn't up to speed. Cam looked like a lost puppy, I think, in this league with all the big boys, and probably one of only two drivers who didn't really deserve their placements in the F1, in my opinion, just based on pace. But you know, I think the placements were pretty good, and everybody's here and ready for round 3, which is at the lovely Catalonia in the middle of the Spanish capital. It's not in the Spanish capital, so I don't know why I've said that, but anyway. Regardless, just on board with the McLaren of Ash Best. Always the first out, always the most eager beaver to get a lap in, and he's already on the medium, so Ash Best wasting no time at the moment, and is going to go out there in the medium compounds. Just hold on 1 second, just checking if I've got another invite. Give me 1 sec. Sorry about the wait there. Just checking, obviously we're going to try and sort out the game sound, so I might restart the game when I have had a different invite from one of the hosts of the lobby. I'm not too sure what's happening. Big C apparently has just joined now, so maybe connection issues for Big C there. As we see Ash Best coming into the final sector, the most difficult sector out of all here at Catalonia. A lot of different gear changes, you know, very spontaneous and sporadic. Going for the final chicane. Here he goes, very, very clean, and bails out of the lap. So Ash Best clearly not happy with his performance at the moment, and has decided to peel off into the pit lane. We're going to get rid of that. I'm going to see who else is on a lap at the moment. As the VSR Lambo currently starting a lap. We see others like Gamer in the Mercedes, and Odem's just about to start a lap as well. Where's Onyx on track? Onyx is in the 3rd sector. We're just going to check where Gamer Paco is. Gamer Paco opting to pit as well, taking out the bollard on his way through. So Gamer Paco clearly not happy either. A bit of frustration on taking out on that bollard. As we're watching Onyx come through the final sector, very, very shaky from Onyx at the moment. We've got some dodgy camera angles coming into this final sector. Does he hit the apex? Yeah, he does. He takes the 3rd one very aggressively, and he is going to be the first driver to complete a lap currently, and he's going to go obviously pole position because nobody set a lap with an 18.0. I think Lambo was the next one out on track, so we will go on board with Lambo. Entering the final sector again. Very late upshift to 5th, and not very convincing downshifts back to 3rd through the final sector there for Lambo, as he does round the final corner. And here he comes to the line, keeping it in 6th gear for as long as possible, and doesn't actually set a valid lap time. So unfortunately for him, as we go down to Gamer, who's not set a valid lap time, and Odems, who goes pole position with a 17.9 on the medium. So Odems proving once again that he is on the ball and that he is ready for another fight here at the Circuit de Catalunya. Just going through the grid. Obviously the Alfa Romeo, if people would stop messaging so I could actually see, the Alfa Romeo of Onyx currently sitting in P2 on his in lap. We're going to see Lambo go around again on a set of mediums, and he does pull off to the side of the road. because there's another Mercedes coming round, which I think is Gamer. Big C on the outlap as well, just coming out on track. We've got Little Block starting his lap currently as well. Sparks currently on a lap in the final sector in the racing point. We're going to see where this man puts it. Obviously only 2 valid lap times set as Sparks rounds the final chicane. Through the last corner, yellow flags in sector 2 and 3, just slow drivers getting out of the way I imagine, but here comes Sparks to the line. Every drop of the RSUs and Sparks 1:18.7, very disappointing from Sparks currently as Ash Best comes across the line, maybe invalid because no lap time set, or he's about to start one. Lambo we know is obviously struggling. Big C takes off the road to get out of people's ways. Little Blocks, I think we'll stay on board with Lickle as we see more people pile in. Some lap times, can't see it on my screen at the moment. It's Poe 1:18.7 as Jacotex goes pole position with a 1:17.9. So a great lap from Jacotex there, proving the haters wrong after a torrential performance and a dismal performance at China, it must be said. Here we go, shifting to third gear very early from Little Blocks, getting the most traction he can as he comes through the final corner. He's in overtake mode, he wants all the juices he can. Little Blocks on the 1:18.9, so the slowest of the bunch so far. Big C we know is starting a lap now. Gamer Paco is going to round the final corner, but he's on an outlap. Everybody else is in the pit lane, so we will go on board with Ash Best, I think, because he is in the final sector at the moment. Kicking up dirt, kicking up dust. Good old Ash Best trying to sort everything out. As you see him round the final corner, round the final chicane, sorry, and then the final corner. Doesn't shift early like Little Blocks did, so maybe a tactic in Ash Best's camp just to get the maximum out of these hard compounds. He sits at 18.9, the last of the runners, but obviously on the hard tyres. This man, Big C, currently sitting P10, not a valid lap time because everybody hasn't set one yet. But here he comes, the 7-time champion, because we don't know that already. It looks a bit rusty through the final sector, but nonetheless he's putting his foot down, he's trying his best, and here he comes to the line. It's going to be a 1:18.8 for Big C. Not the worst I've ever seen, as we see Alfie Ole, or Alfie, go 7th in the Renault with a 1:18.8 as well. So people not really performing at the moment when you've got the likes of Jacotex and Odem setting 17.9s on the medium tyres. You expect these guys to pick up the pace. But there is a long way to go in this qualifying session, and we can see what people are going to do for the best. I haven't received a second invite, so unfortunately I cannot rejoin the session. So you're going to be stuck without game sound until somebody picks up the phone, as the Gamer Paco does go pole position, but on the soft tyres. So Paco opting for the most aggressive strategy, it must be said. Will it pay off? Probably not. It's not a very smart strategy. We saw Glock in F2, which is just finished a couple of minutes ago. He went out on the soft tyres and just couldn't compete with anybody else. A bit of a shame, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. As you see Lickle again, he looks like he is on a flying lap. He's ringing that Ferrari. Good old Lickle Blocks, here he comes through the middle sector. Sweeping left and right handers, takes a lot of curb on the exit. Nearly flat through here. Oh, he's ran it massively wide on the exit. Good old Lickle Blocks, and then a heavy braking zone down to the hairpin. First gear normally, maybe second, as he double up shifts, which is a common theme with most drivers nowadays. Double up shifts to third gear, and then cycling between second and fourth through that long sweeping right hander. As he comes to a bit tighter right hander, locks up the front right on my screen, and then the front left coming into the chicane. Currently in third gear right now, and Little Blocks does bail out of the lap. So Little Blocks clearly not happy with the setup of the car and does want to change things. Alfie in the Renault, obviously absent teammate Louis Welsh enjoying the beautiful sunshine in another country. So Louis Welsh will not be with us today, unfortunately. And obviously Rafa has, as Little Blocks leaves the session, so issues for Little Blocks. We'll see if we can get a word from Lickle, maybe if he doesn't rejoin the session. But obviously issues for Lickle, not too happy. Did buy a new wheel today because there was issues with the old one on a warranty, so for free. Getting things for free, that's what I like. I love a good bargain, mate. As we see Lambo around the final couple of corners, he is on the soft tyres. Not really been showing the pace, Lambo, in these few races, but here he goes. He's in second gear currently. A lot of people opting for third gear, as we see the back end kick out as he comes to the final corner. Misses the apex completely, but keeps it nice and stable as he comes to the line. And Lambo goes P2 with the 17.6. Not good enough to beat Paco, but definitely good enough to put him on the front row of the grid. Just cycling through a couple of these guys, seeing who's on outlaps and who's not. Everybody currently in the pit lane or currently on outlaps. Go on board with Poe. People opting for the soft tyre, so I'm not too sure if the weather is a factor in this race. As I take a bite of my Chinese that I ordered an hour ago, but it came late, so I've got to eat it during the race. So enjoy some munching sounds with your commentary. As Paco comes down into turn 1. We'll go on board with the entire lap with Paco. Just want to see his driving style and what gears he shifts into. Currently in 5th. Go straight into 6th gear for this long sweeping right-hander. A lot of traction with the soft tyres. Bit difficult, more difficult with the hard tyres. You get a lot of understeer. The car doesn't really grip around there. You know, sometimes I have to back off. He's gone very wide there though, using all the track available to him as he enters turn 5. A downwards corner, very tricky with ABS users, locking up that front left as he comes uphill through the S section of the track. Also a very tricky section as he enters the fast right-hander. Normally 5th and 6th gear, I've seen people enter it in, personal preference I think, going through there. And then obviously the slowest part of the track, the most technical and difficult part of the track, he opts for 2nd gear, does Poe, through that section. Same as me, I do opt for the 2nd, not 1st. A lot of people do like to downshift to 1st, then double upshift to 3rd, going through the hairpin. Poe looking very smooth indeed, going through the final couple of corners. He's clipping every apex on these soft tyres, and here he comes, Poe in the racing point. He's in overtake, he's got all the juice available to him, and he's going to go P5 with a 17.9 in the softs. That is abysmal for Poe. Some of the medium runners have beat him, and these tyres are a second a lap quicker. As we see Odem's starting a lap. I know he's not, he's finishing a lap with a 16.9. Odem's back in the league with a bang. He couldn't beat Lee Finley. Pardon me, he couldn't beat Lee Finley last time out, but he's definitely taking his opportunities today with a 16.9. So clearly rain normally is mediums to hards or hards to mediums. So Odem's currently the man to beat at the moment with a, like I said, a 16.9. Fantastic performance for him as Ash Best moves out of the way. And as we go up to 19 viewers currently, so welcome everybody to the stream. Like I said, if I did get another invite, I would leave the session and rejoin. But what I'll probably do, I'll do it after qualifying, because Big C's just sent me an invite. So thank you very much, Big C. Just cycling through the grid now. People left, right, and centre setting lap times. People moving out the way left, right, and centre as well. As you see, Sparks currently 4/10 up on his lap. Entering the final sector, we're going to see him through the chicane. We've got some really dodgy camera angles, but that's a bit of a nice one coming through. And this one's always a good one, especially to the line. Sparks coming to the line. DRS wide open, goes P2 with a 17.5. Odem's untouchable at this rate. Ash Best is miles down, and somebody's crashed in the background. We'll just have a look who that is. As we see Onyx spin the rears, and oh, it's Lickle Blocks. So Lickle Blocks on the back straight, no front wing, and after a great performance out in China and also Australia, picking up a handful of points and a podium, Lickle Blocks really not finding his feet out here. As we're going to see Onyx come to start his lap in overtake. A lot of drivers opting for overtake down the straight just to give him that extra boost of straight line speed. Obviously you can't run hot lap throughout the entirety of this lap because the RS just drains and you need to put it in high, especially at the end of the lap. But Odem's, he's got octopus fingers as you see him cycling through overtake, hot lap and through high. So Odem's clearly at one and in tune with the Alfa Romeo. As we see him very hesitant on the throttle going through there. It's a long left-hander. It goes on forever like the Pacific Ocean. And also the downwards left-hander, doesn't lock up the brakes. A very smooth driver is Odem's, the number 34. He takes a lot of curb on the inside. I haven't seen a lot of drivers do that as he enters the latter stages of the second sector. DRS wide open for this man. Here he comes down, shifting. Another driver opting, just flicked into first gear. I don't think that was intentional, as he does cut the corner heavily coming into the sweeping right-hander. And Odems, oh, loses the back end. I don't know if he'll complete the lap. He still is in 4th gear, which is not what you want to be in. Down to 2nd here, up shifts to 3rd to get the traction through the final corner. I don't think Odems will particularly be happy with this lap. He's going to complete it anyway, and it's going to be an 18.4 for Odems, so miles off the pace. It looked smooth, but it wasn't, unfortunately, for Odems, as we see people file out the pits left, right and centre. This man, Gamer Paco, set a lap really early on the softs, but nobody can touch Odems at this point. The only person who probably can is Jacotex, and he is the first man about to start a lap, so we will go on board with Jacotex going down the start finish straight. Another man that opts for the overtake boost down this long start finish straight. It goes on for an eternity. Not too much of a heavy braking zone. 3rd, 4th gear really you want to be in going into turn 1 and into turn 2. Upshift into to gear 5 and 6, going through the turn number 3. As you enter turn 4, a lot of strain put on the front right and left tyres going through this track. The front tyres definitely the ones to watch out for when it comes to grip levels, as we have 1 minute left in this qualifying session. Here we go. This man doing everything that he can. Doesn't take too much curve like Onyx did on the previous outlap that I was on board with, but Jay clearly pushing the boundaries beautifully in the limits. Sparks even gives him a bit of a toe. So here we come, Jacob Tex into the hairpin, very smooth in 3rd gear, keeps the speed up. Jacob Tex very smooth down into 3rd, up shifts back to 4th. He carries the speed beautifully throughout the lap. Down into 3rd, Lickle Blocks not in the way, just outside the track in 2nd gear. Up shifts to 3rd very early just to get the traction, and then into 4th, then into 5th, then into 6th, into 7th gear for the last part of the lap. And Jay cannot beat Odems, but it's very close from the young man. Going P2. Odems cannot be toppled. We're going to go on board with Gamer the Best. He's currently on a personal best, so let's see where he's going to put it. It's actually F1 Gamer now, Lewis, so can't be calling him that. As we see him round the final corner, definitely a lot slower on the power compared to Jacob Tex, but he comes across the line now. Gamer P5 for Gamer. Going to cycle through just to see who's in the latter stages of the lap. We have Alfie, 8/10 up on his lap. Is it going to be good enough? He's in 2nd gear already, switches it to 3rd. Definitely very quick from Alfie in the last sector. He's currently 8/10 up. Here we go, Alfie, Ollie across the line, a 17.5, and it's P6 for Alfie. We're going to go on board now with Lambo, currently lingering in P8. It was his banker lap though. As he comes across the line, he's got it in overtake mode. P4 for Lambo. Great performance from him. I think Sparks is the next one out there, as we see Big C go P8. So that's a very impressive lap from Big C up into P8. As we see this man in the racing point. Good old Sparks with so many X's I can't even count. And here we go. Is Sparks going to push anybody out the way? He's currently in P6. He crosses the line and he stays P6. Lickle Blocks goes from 12th to 11. And the last man out there is Odems. And Jay, obviously just pitting because he set his lap early. And Onyx. A lot of people's favourite a couple of races ago. Onyx on the pace. Bottled it at China, unfortunately, with the 2-stop strategy. It was initially going to be for Onyx, but then the rain came down and ruined everybody's strategy, as I suddenly have game sound back. So we've had an entire qualifying session without any game sound, and now we've got game sound. So yeah, for whatever reason this game loves me. And here's the grid for today. Oh, 5-second penalty for position penalty for Ash Best and for Lickle. So Lickle will start 13th on the grid with that 5-place grid penalty, and Ash will start 9th. Alfie, who moved up? Blizzard went P3. I did miss that. I do apologise to Blizzard. It's actually a really good lap from Blizzard, only 1/10 off the top 2. But yeah, there you have it. There's the top 13. Don't even need to run through it because it's on the screen for you. Not too many drivers out there today, as I take a bite of my Chinese because I'm hungry. as we just wait for players to get in the lobby. It's taking a while actually for people to get in. 5th to 11th, wow, so close. Warren Hague and 2 drivers on the same time. Warren Hague clearly impressed with some of the performances from these F1 guys. Blizzard going through a Sebastian Vettel 2014 season at the moment. So GSG not too impressed with Blizzard this season, but he did put it P3, so you got to give the man some credit. As we are still waiting for players out there to get their setups nice and ready. As you can see, it is torrential rain here at the Spanish Grand Prix. It isn't just rain, it's torrential. This is where the boys turn into men. This is where you see the experience turn into, I don't know, poles and podiums. This is where it all comes together in these conditions. Nobody ever races or predicts wet weather, especially at a track like Spain. It's not really that sort of track you'd warrant a wet, especially a heavy wet race. This is, you know, ridiculous. But Odems is going to lead everybody around. Odems is the man to beat. Jacotek's not too far off him, currently in P2, and then obviously Blizzard not too far off as well in P3. But I think it's going to be a 3-horse race. Lambo may be able to stick with them. His qualifying lap was impressive, but not on the level of these guys. Obviously half the grid, unfortunately, isn't even here today. So interesting as we see tyres, just in case nobody knew, because I do get a lot of comments saying put the tyres on, so we're not tyres people are on. Well, it's wet. So they're on wets. Heavy rain, obviously a lot more difficult in this game compared to previous titles, as Odem lights the rears up to try and get some temperature into those tyres. A lot of standing water out there trying to clear it off the track, and Odem's clearly feeling the need to spin the rear as much as possible. Look at that wheel. Oh, I bet his wheel at home is crying. Pardon me. His wheel at home's absolutely crying for mercy. Anyway, we're going to turn everything on and get rid of that, as we have 29 viewers currently. So welcome to the newcomers if you just joined the stream. No Leon unfortunately today, just myself, Lordy Boy, or Lordy-MK. I should keep calling myself Lordy Boy. Just having a look through now. Gamer Alimunda, get Estoril back. I agree. Did love Estoril. It was a very, very good track. I think Imola as well I'd like to see back, if any other track. But anyway, enough about all these blooming tracks. Here we go for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, it's number 5. Red lights here at Catalonia, and away we go. Odems getting a decent start, but I've got an absolutely dodgy camera angle as Jacotex looks to challenge down into turn 1. Also Blizzard looking to challenge as well, getting squeezed by Jacotex on the outside, but Odems leads going into turn 1, and Lambo's up the inside of Blizzard. It seems there's crashes, there's carnage at the back as we see a Ferrari round and a McLaren caught in contact, as Blizzard unfortunately loses out and loses position. So they're just going to go on board with Jay for 1 second, because here he comes. He's going to make an attack on Odems going into turn number 3, but he can't, unfortunately. But Odems leads from Jacotex, who's looking to challenge. Look at the traction he's just got out of there out of turn 3. He's going to go round the outside. Odems is going to squeeze him. Jay very, very aware though of what's going on around him, and these two are at it already. It's not even half a lap's gone. But Lambo making a very crucial position up into P3 as Jacotex runs a tiny bit wide, compromising his exit, and Lambo is going to go up the inside there. That's brave of him. No opts to back out. I think that's very sensible from the young man. As we just file through the grid now, as we see position changes left, right and centre. We are just going to change that just to make sure we know what positions are at, because we know what tyres people are on. As Odems has made a mistake. Odems has made a mistake at the hairpin and ran wide. Jacotex takes the lead of the Circuit de Catalunya Grand Prix. Into turn number, the chicane. Into turn the chicane. Jacotex leads, followed by Odems, who's clearly struggling in these wet weather conditions at the start of the race. We will go down the order just at the end of this straight just to see what's happened. Gamer Paco, as Jacotex sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Gamer Paco was the man who lost out. Big C also down to P number 12. Liquor Block's getting 2 positions off the start but nothing to report really from the back of the grid. There's already a bit of a split as we watch Alfie Ole in P number 6, gaining 1 position from his qualifying position and looking to do make another move, I should say, into P number 5. Pursuing the likes of Sparks in the racing point as we enter lap number 2 and turn number 3. Just going to fast forward, I say fast forward, skip forward to the likes of Lambo, because Lambo's actually looking very adept to these conditions. The car's obviously limited downforce, especially in these wet weather. The standing water clearly playing a crucial part in people's traction and confidence as we see drivers come through cautiously through the middle sector. The latter stages, this is a fast right-hander as we watch Blizzard run slightly wide, not too wide. He did hold it very well as we see an absolute stunning camera angle, and by stunning I mean dog camera angle going into the final sector. Watching a trolley train which is being formed by Blizzard at the moment. I know he's got dirty air, but he looks to be struggling in these conditions. As I just have a bite of my egg fried rice. Oh yeah, as Odems cuts the chicane once again. I just caught that on camera, Odems, and it's costing him time. It's not even gaining him, so Odems struggling already. As we enter lap number 3, Jacotex already has a 1 second gap and he's pulling away. He is grasping all the time he can get as we see 2 wide coming down into turn number 1. Blizzard under attack from Sparks. Sparks is going to go all the way around the outside. He's also got the inside for this corner, but then turn number 3 is also a right-hander as Alfie Ole as they shout, the crowd, as Alfie Ole is going to make a move. No, he's not. Very cautious. Going into turn number 4, I think I said it was number 3 last lap, I do apologise. Turn number 4, but look at the traction Alfie's getting. He needs to dispatch Sparks. He's trying to go up the inside. Here we go, they've both ran wide, Blizzard and Sparks, and can Alfie get on the power and get the move done? He's revving the absolute hell as Gamer Paco retires from the session, and as Sparks has to concede because Alfie positions his car beautifully to snatch P number 5 away from this man, and he's got his sights set on Blizzard, and Blizzard's made a mistake. Here he comes now. Alfie turned it up into high. Is he going to make a lunge down the inside? It's very late from Alfie, but Blizzard looks very, very slow. Bit of banging wheels, but it looks very clean on the exit. Is he going to get the traction he's needed? Blizzard's on the grass. He's going to understeer into the Renault. Will he maintain the position? Alfie, there's no traction out there, mate. Just stand in water. But we're going to go neck and neck into the final sector. Alfie has been pushed off the track. Can he maintain the position to Blizzard? He's still going to stick it there. Go on. Go on, my son. He's going to get run out wide again, but Alfie just doesn't care, and he's got to pursue the Williams. Look at the train. We're going to go on board with Gamer, because Gamer's going to have the best seat in the house for this. Alfie putting up a fantastic fight as we see Sparks from out of nowhere. Look at the straight line speed of that racing point. It's going for it. Alfie tries to go up the inside. Blizzard defends very, very well, has to be said. But look at the grit and determination from Alfie. He's not done yet. Go on, son. Go on, son. He's squeezing Blizzard to the outside. It's very, very clean driving from these two. Oh, Alfie says, get off. Get off. Get out my way. Not too impressed, Alfie. Pushing him out wide. As we see Blizzard continuously trying to fight the position as Alfie will switch to the inside to defend. I don't know if Blizzard has gone down the inside. No, he hasn't. Has to concede as we see an Alfa Romeo of Onyx making up. Oh, there's a bit of contact on Gamer. So Gamer getting caught up with all the commotion. Gamer currently in P8 just lost out to Onyx, who made a move and I think just rubbing her wheels rear to front as Onyx picks up another position into P number 7 for Onyx. So brilliant driving from these guys. Obviously, Alfie's lost touch with some of the leaders at the moment, as Sparks is going to go down the inside of Blizzard as well. Here comes Sparks. Blizzard getting mugged left, right and centre. Sparks looking like he's got the pace round here in the racing point and making it stick. So well done to Spark. He does run a tiny bit wide, but I don't think Blizzard's got the pace or the gap to kind of sling his car down there. But Alfie, as you can see, I know Sparks has been making some moves, but that gap's creeping open. That gap is creeping open. As we see Jacotex set another fastest lap of the Grand Prix. This man on fire. We're going to go on board with Onyx and Gamer though, because this is what we want to see. Going down the start finish straight. He's currently P8 Gamer. Onyx is going to make a move on Blizzard. Blizzard is getting mugged. And I mean shafted. Look at this man struggling in the conditions. He's clearly set his car up for the dry weather, but he didn't perform well enough in qualifying. It was P3, but not P number 1, and he's not got the clean air. And in the dirty air, that Williams looks like a dog. Struggling is Blizzard going into turn number 4. And oh dearie me, Blizzard not having the best of times this game, and he loses the rear end. Just seeing if Poe was close enough, but he wasn't. As we're going to go on board, I think, with Onyx, because Onyx looks quick in these conditions, and also does Spark and Alfie. We will maintain the gap just to see, as Lickle and Big C are having a titanic battle for P number 11. Not where they want to be, especially Lickle blocks after the couple of performances he's had. But Big C struggling like a dog all over the place. Lickle blocks really looking to get past him. Really looking. He's like a bloodhound, Lickle. He's got the blood red of the Ferrari as well. And here we go. Down the inside goes Lickle blocks. Big C gives him plenty of room. And there goes the bollard. Bye bollard. But Big C maintains the position. Just going to cycle up to these guys, because this is where the battle is at. As I take another bite of my delicious Chinese. If you're wondering what I'm having, which you probably aren't, I'm having a sweet and sour duck with veg. And egg fried rice, very nice. This is what the folks want to see though. Gamer on Blizzard. Like I said, for the previous 2 laps, it's only on lap 6. Blizzard is really struggling out there. The Colgate Supreme Williams, it shines brightly in the rain. But unfortunately, as Gamer runs horrifically wide, I don't know if he'll get a warning for that. But you know, Blizzard really trying to put up a fight here, and he's just struggling. It's like a pig. It's like a pig. You know, I don't know if some of the older members of PSGL might remember this, but David Seaman, he went on Dancing on Ice, and it just looked like an absolute donkey. You know, Mr. Safe Hands himself, he dropped his partner, and crack she went all over the ice, blood everywhere. It was disgusting. Well, I'm getting flashbacks because Blizzard looks like he's getting murdered out there by the wet weather. Not looking very safe out on track. He is putting in the best performance he can. Clearly not got the car set up. Good old VSR Blizzard. But he is putting in the effort, and that's what you like to see. Comments flooding in left, right and centre. I've only got 2 eyes and they're not wang eyes, so I can only watch one screen at once, so I'll try my best to have a look at some of the comments. But like I say, it's a bit difficult. Oh dear. Clean from F1, I guess, says F1 Sophie. Not bad meal choice, says Gavin Alimunda. I agree, I'm enjoying it. Really good. As we go on board with Gamer, I don't think he's going to make a lunge into turn 1. Blizzard may have found some form, probably getting used to a couple of these conditions out there. Still struggling though, so just watching some of the gaps. Onyx is getting very close to Sparks, and Big C is going to go around the outside of Poe, and nearly completely missed it. Poe clearly struggling in these conditions as well, and Big C round the outside of turn number 3. That's what the 7-time champion does. He just decimates Poe round the outside, clean as you like from Big C. Thank you very much. That's like a co-op meal deal. You just snatch and grab, take what you want, check out. Easy, nice and easy. And Lickle blocks, I think, wants a bit of this meal deal as well. Coming down into the sweeping chicane, and Poe's going to maintain the position, struggling like a pig is Poe. And Ash Beth has lost a few positions as well, so he's clearly struggling. Don't know if Poe is struggling with internet issues, but does look to be lagging slightly. Lickle blocks having to adjust the braking point going into the hairpin, trying to avoid that stricken racing point, currently in P10. We're going to go on board with Onyx. Onyx looks the closest at the moment. Just going to have a bit more of the egg fried rice. Delightful. As Odems has finally picked up the pace at the front. So Odems out, closing in on Jacotex. Jay does have a history of overheating the tyres, and it has compromised his race before. Has Odems bided his time, saved the ERS, saved the fuel, and he's now pushing to catch Jay. We'll check the gap as much as possible as Odems, as Onyx, sorry, nearly loses the back end in the Alfa Romeo. but it's absolute carnage, and it's an absolute dogfight as Little Blocks in P10 does get past Poe, which I think was inevitable really. Just gonna go back on board with Onyx. Oh, just try and have a bit of a break. The mouth's a bit dry. Need some Buxton water, I think, which I haven't got any beside me, which is unfortunate. So we've got had a race with no drink. So yeah. Oh, it's the Onyx. Oh, an awful camera angle. Thanks to Codemasters. Thank you very much, Codemasters. But Onyx having to fully lock the wheel. The rotation on that steering wheel to try and save the car mid-corner was fantastic from Odem's. A great save, and he currently stays in P number 6 at the moment. But that man, a horror scare for him. It's like watching Annabelle in the dark. You don't want to do it because it is pretty terrifying, trust me. As Jacobs Tex responds to Odem's fastest lap and says, you know what, mate, have that. I'm not bottling it this week. I want the race win. And Jay doing a fantastic job in P number 1. As we see, Gamer is actually fallen to Blizzard. So Blizzard clearly getting used to the conditions and finding his feet. Just looking at the gap between Poe and Ash Best as well. Currently down there in P13. And it's 0.5 of a second, so we won't go on board with them two. We want to stay on board with Onyx preferably, but the field is a bit spread out. I will go on board with, I think, who's the best to see? We'll give Jay some screen time. I think Jay does deserve some screen time for the performance. If I see the gaps getting any closer, like Gamer and Blizzard or Onyx and Sparks, I'll give him a quick glance. But this man Jay, just a bit of appreciation for this man at the moment, doing a fantastic job there. You do see Odem's in the background, the Colgate machine with the Red Bull Racing in P number 3. It's very close, but there's just a few tenths in it between these drivers. Jay bolted from the start, and he's been the lion ever since. I don't think Odem's is going to be hunting him down anytime soon, only unless the rain gets any lighter, but we'll have to see. Because look at the deluge out on track. It's absolutely horrific in Spain. I definitely wouldn't pay for any of this to see this. Oof, disgusting. Smelly people, crowded seats and moist weather conditions. That sounds like a weekend in Burton, I'll give you that. But anyway, enough of my life story. Odems has gained 0.2 on Jacotex currently, but it is just levelling out the conditions and levelling out the pace between these drivers. We will go on board with Gamer, who seems to have gained down the straight, and Onyx has lost an absolute heap loads of time there in P6. So Onyx clearly falling victim to some of the tricky conditions and corners out there. As Gamer, please don't run wide again, Gamer. I've seen you do it about 4 times, mate. It doesn't run wide for the first time I think we've seen him on camera, and he's currently in P number 8. 3 tenths behind Blizzard. Can't seem to get past him at this point. I don't know whether it's just pace issues or whether he's biding his time. Good old Gamer. He is a very calculated race driver, and he has had some fierce battles with the likes of Little Blocks through the previous 2 races, obviously at Australia and at China. But Gamer definitely doing a tremendous job in P8. And by tremendous, I mean fabulous, because he's getting 2 positions and he's maintaining it. His teammate doing wonders in P number 9 as well. Big C maybe being the number 2 driver this season. There has been talks of retirement as we see him miss the apex into the hairpin. Looks very slow compared to the likes of Lickle Blocks going through the final sector. Really likes to rev the car, good old Lickle. Doesn't even shift into 4th as well. So Lickle Blocks definitely opting for the higher revs to try and see if he can maintain the wheel spin. Big C more controlled, likes the lower revs, likes the extra traction it provides, as Lickle upshifts very early it seems, coming through the final chicane. But no, just going to have a look at Ash Best. Ash Best and Poe. The battle for P11. The guys haven't turned up today. Ash Best losing 3 positions. Poe, here's where he started, so maybe no expectations from Poe. So you see the worst camera angles this game has to offer, and there's a battle going on, but we do continue, and Poe maintains it beautifully. So he's had a bit of a moment. No, Ash tries to go up the inside of Poe. for P number 11. I think Poe's going to have to concede it. He's not got the traction around the outside there. Oh, he's turned in late. The cars just slide into the outside line. There's no grip out there, Poe. As he tries to get on the power. Look at him. He's gone for a dive bomb out of nowhere. He's got it stopped though, good old Poe. It's a good move. Double up shifting to try and get the traction, but the back end just keeps slipping from underneath him. Will he maintain the position to Ashbest? I think he will. Oh! Contact! Collision! He hit me! Oh, he hit me indeed. As Poe retires from the race. Oh, dearie me. Poe's had enough. Ashbest is now 14 seconds behind Little Blocks and in no man's land. So poor old Ashbest and poor old Poe. A bit of a racing incident really. Ash probably should have backed out as Big C completely shafts the chicane. But yeah, he hit me all the time. You have to leave us space. You'll need to leave us space. Oh, Poe clearly not very impressed. The likes of Ashbest there, but what can you do? Lingering down there in P11 and 12, clearly not on the pace from them two guys, unfortunately. Imagine if there was more people, they'd be in all sorts of trouble. But anyway, Ashbest, the warrior that he is going to continue, and rightly so, because that's what we like to see, commitment. Ashbest, a very respected member of the community, normally very quick. He does struggle in the wet weather conditions ever since he turned the assists off. But Ashbest doing a fantastic job of, you know, showing people not to give up. He may not be on the pace, he may not be in the points, but you've got to maintain the attitude that you've got to finish every race. You know, because this is probably one of the most boring races I've ever come across. But you've got to make it entertaining. I've got to pull through. Like, I really want to eat my Chinese right now. Like, I'm sniffing it and it smells delightful. But I can't, because I've committed myself to Monday nights and to watching wet weather runners skate across the track for about an hour. Because I'm a fool. Oh, dearie me. Odems has made inroads on Jacotex while I've been ranting on about how my Chinese smells, which is a bit weird. But yeah, well, as we say, making inroads, that's the fastest lap. He had a terrible final corner. Doesn't want to go on the racing line, trying to cool the tyres maybe. Odem's clearly struggling with tyre temps on these wets. They do go a while. We are on lap 13, unfortunately. So a long time left in this race, but he is doing a fantastic job in P number 2. And I think Alfie's the man to look out for as well. As I'm just going to check the chat, see what people have been saying. Hey, you know, Alimundo, right? I may be English, but my Spanish accent is all right. Don't be a critique to my accent. Was it meant to be Spanish? No, it wasn't actually. But you know, I was imitating Alonso, so I can see the mishap. Oh, thanks for the information, Sophie. The gap at the front's getting closer. Yes, it is. Unfortunately, it's not close enough to actually spectate because nothing's actually happening and people are just going around the track. It's like watching a qualifying session. So, you know, we'll just continue for now. But, you know, good old Alfie Ole. The number 29. Sparks is the closest gap out on track on Alfie, but Alfie is maintaining. And I think he's actually been gaining on Lambo the past couple of laps. Lambo definitely dropping off the pace compared to the guys up front, so clearly struggling with either tyre temperatures or just struggling in general with traction as he comes out the final corner. Very tidy, a bit of a kick of oversteer, but Alfie and Sparks look more at one with their vehicles, it must be said. Yeah, Kerr, or AMS as he formerly is known. I do have to agree. Yeah, the turnout's not been great. We've had a bit of a lack of turnout in F4 as well. A lot of people, you know, it's the summer, people are on holiday. They want to enjoy their lives. Do you know what I want to do with my life? Sit and watch F1. That's what I do with my life. 3 jobs and watch F1 on the regular. You're me. That's what I want. But yeah, oh dear is he's right. I think 10 finishes by the end. I think somebody else is going to bite the dust. I think that's what I'm going to ask you, chat. Actually, in your guys' opinion, we'll do a little game while people are trying to catch one another. Who do you think is going to be the next person to bin it? I want to see people's comments in the chat, because obviously there's a lot of drivers out there clearly struggling with traction. Ash Best is 16 seconds behind, so he might be the favourite at the moment because he is in no man's land. But do any of you know, or who you think may bin it next, either due to own error or collision with anybody, or you know, whatever the circumstances are, as we do see Odems on the back of GA, so we will stay on board with that. Odem's not looking, sniffing. He's sniffing at Jake going into turn 1, but not close enough at the moment, and he is going to get the dirty air through the first and middle sectors, so it is going to be difficult for the man to try and maintain that gap. As you see Sparks and Alfie as well, but we're just going to stay with the front two, because these two are the pinnacle of the league racing at the moment, especially here at the Spanish Grand Prix. And hashtag Ask Lordy, I saw. Hashtag Ask Lordy. Good and bad memories of racing at the Spanish Grand Prix. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You've asked me to unlock some memories. Very interesting. Worst memory has to be last season F4. No, best memory has to be last season F4. Not for my personal gain. I started at the back of the grid with Jim Betrayer. I was P18, I believe, and he was 16th in the Ferrari. And I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. I know it obviously got sent to the stewards because it was horrendous. Well, I think it was Josh. Josh was in the Red Bull. Jim was in the Ferrari. Jim came off the line and made it about 50 metres down the start-finish straight and completely got ploughed into the wall off the start-finish straight and was out of the race. So yeah, not a highlight for Jim Betrayer, or Betrayer as he's known on the F1 side, on the PSGL side I should say. But yeah, very funny memory for me watching the Ferrari just cartwheel into the barrier. It was actually fantastic. As we're actually watching the battles get very close, as Alfie's made a mistake, I think. No, he hasn't. I think people are just pitting. Big C, Onyx and Blizzard all in the pit lane, as I've been ranting on about some rubbish memories. We're just going to see where people funnel out. Blizzard's putting on the set of wets. Here we go. We're going to change tyres just to see, because people will moan, and I don't want that. Right, tyres. Oh, Lickle blocks on the intermediates, as Ash pits as well. So Lickle clearly feels that it's ready for intermediate tyres. This could be a masterstroke from the man. He is a bit far away off Blizzard, but that's not who he's racing in this race. Blizzard has pitted and Onyx has pitted, both for wet weather tyres. So a gamble from the Ferrari boys. If it's anything like real life, the Ferrari gang will definitely get it wrong. So hopes probably not as high as people would have wanted. But anyway, Alfie and Sparks do seem the closest battle on track, with Lambo also in the mix. Oh, it's getting crispy, boys. Here we go. It's taken until lap 16, but the battles are finally coming into fruition. Oh, Alfie, ole, 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 ole. Look at him. Look at he's like an animal. He's like a snake. He just slithers through the final sector with grace and style, as Lambo gives up the ghost and pits from P3 on the grid. Did Sparks come in as well? Yes, he did. So Sparks and Lambo in the pit lane. We'll check Gamer as well. Gamer is also in the pit lane. Big C has to stay out, because obviously double stacking is never, ever, ever a good idea. As Alfie Ole pits, doesn't pit and stays out, as Jagetex and Odems come into the pit lane, as seen on the graphic. So at the moment, just seeing where people are funneling out, is if I can get my words out. And look at this, Gamer on Blizzard. Is he going to be into turn 1? Ooh, he's getting close. Not close at all. Gamer, clearly the quicker of the two drivers at this stage. I do believe in the wet weather conditions, but can't seem to find a way past Blizzard at this current moment. I will check if Alfie does pit earlier in this race. is the intermediate tyres the tyres to be going on? I'm just watching the gap between Gamer and Little Blocks. It's currently 7.9 seconds and keeps fluctuating at a rapid pace. So just going to keep an eye on that. Nobody close at the moment apart from these two. So let me quickly have a bit more of Chinese. Actually, we're going to go off, not on board with these guys, because Jay was all over the back of Big C. Big C comes into the pit lane, and so does Alfie. So Jay could text. Look how much he's pulled on Odems. It's neck and neck going into the pit lane, basically, and Odem's clearly struggling at the start to get these wets up to temperature. He doesn't like the op for the racing line going down the stop-finish straight. But Odems, as Onyx sets the fastest lap of the race, just gonna cycle the wrong way. Just gonna see where Alfie's come out. He has come out ahead of Sparks, which is crucial for his race. As I eat an onion, that is really spicy. Holy shit! Whoa, bloody hell! But Alfie, he's made the strategy work for him. Lambo hasn't even gained any time really. Considering he did do the undercut on good old Alfie. Alfie, a very controlled, mature performance from the young man. 16 years of age this man is. Look at him. He's not even a man, he's a kid, he's a child. But you know, 16 years of experience this man has. 16 years out in the world. And do you know what he's got to show for it? Absolutely nothing. No, I'm joking. He's had a lot of experience in the lower tiers as Little Blocks picks up a penalty for multiple warnings. But no, this man, he's flourished in Formula 1 currently. I was in talks with Big C the other day about getting more people into F1, maybe shipping out some of the old, including Big C himself. Did always say to him, as Odin sets the fastest lap of the race, did say to Big C the other day, you know, maybe it's time for the new guys to start flourishing in this league. And he said, I've still got years left in me. I don't think that's true from the 7-time champ himself. But Alfie clearly proven why he deserves to be in this division. As we see yellow flags in Sector 3. Who has gone off at Sector 3? It's Little Blocks struggling out of the final corner, and Little, is that it for the man in the Ferrari? He's gone off at the last corner, I think. Not sure if it's the end for this man, but he is on intermediate tyres and it's just not the right time. So Little going for a gamble. He had nothing to lose, and well, very unfortunate. As we see yellow flags in Sector 1, so I don't know what's happened there. Who's gone off at Sector 1? Oh, it's Little. It's over. He's parked it, or is he going to continue? I'm not too sure. We're going to go off board anyway. We're going to go back on board with these guys. As we see Ash Best. This is what continuing gets you. Points. It gets you points. Ash Best as Gamer. Ooh, locks up going into the hairpin, nearly entering the back of the Williams. Obviously sponsored Colgate or Sensodyne Rapid Relief. As we see yellow flags in Sector 2, Little Blocks has retired. It's a dismal end to a dismal performance for good old Little Blocks. He said if he retires, get me in the commentary box, and I've sent him a party invite, so let's just see if he would like to forward that party invite. Let's just go on board with him. Hold on, I'll just go off the stream 1 second. Apologies, everybody. Here he is, the big man himself. Hello, Little Blocks.
Hello.
So, obviously just on board with Alfie at the moment on the stream. I don't know if you can see for P number 4. Obviously yourself retired from this race. Didn't seem to be a very happy afternoon for yourself, or what went wrong down at the Ferrari camp?
Well, I was lacking pace the whole race, as you know. I had to pretty much, I was out of action. I had no wheel for the whole week. I recently just got my wheel back, or a new one just today. And to do like one practice session, it really didn't help. No pace whatsoever, and it really showed here. I went for a gamble and yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah, I was just telling some of the viewers, had some wheel issues with the wire and ended up getting a brand new wheel for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix, and it just didn't work out for you. So commiserations to yourself, Lickle, but at least you get to join me for the next 12-13 laps. The actions have been a bit stale, has to be said, in these wet weather conditions, but the man who's been putting on a show is this man in the Renault. He's established himself as a very competitive F1 driver and proved some of the haters wrong, has to be said. Good old Alfie Ole is currently sitting in P4 in a gruesome battle for number 3. Lambo clearly holding him up, it has to be said, but it's been a very controlled performance. Where do you think Alfie's going to end up finishing today?
I think I don't think he'll be able to get past Lambo, because although he seems to have the grip, when it comes to the straight he's not getting close. And that's really the main factor. If you can't get close to the straight, you can't get past. The only way I say you could get that point is it gets invented. It goes up from the corner.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point you make. Obviously these wet weather conditions, the understeer makes it so difficult in dirty air to maintain the gap between some of these drivers, and obviously maintaining the gap's just the first part. Actually getting past the car ahead is the second, and a lot of people definitely struggling out there with getting past. But Alfie, he's on the back, he can't get any closer in these conditions or he will run into the back of that Red Bull. So I think he could pounce on this lap. He's turned the wick up, I think, as he does make contact going into the final sector. Hopefully he's not lost a bit of wing. Lambo clearly holding him up. Look at the traction Alfie gets out of the final corner. Lambo just parks it on the apex. Oh, it's going to be tight. It's going to be very tight. We're going to stay on board with Alfie, actually. Sparks just a bit too far behind. He's right on his gearbox. This is it. He's got to do it now, Lickle. Down into turn 1. Will Sparks make a move as well? I'm not too sure. Alfie not going to try around the outside as Lambo parks it. But he's going to do the switch back. Here he comes. Oh, that's disgusting. That is disgusting. That is absolute. That is rubbish. That is just shit. That is awful. Poor old Alfie. Yeah, that is. Sorry for the profanity, but that is really bad from Lambo. I think a penalty should be awarded for that man. That is disgusting driving as he slides his way through turn number 5. As Sparks is next up. Hopefully Alfie can recover. Obviously he does want that podium pretty badly, and that was very, very disgusting driving from Lambo. Clearly panicking in the cockpit of that car, but we are going to stay on board with it, Lickle. Currently P4 Sparks is at the moment. He's been on the pace, not really had the pace as Onyx. Oh, nearly loses it coming out the fight. Oh, and Blizzard nearly loses it in the background as well. We see Blizzard and Gamer battling it out. We'll just fast forward to them because Blizzard's going to go down the inside. Here he goes. It's been lap after lap stuck behind Colgate Supreme, but Blizzard says, you know what, suck my finger. That's what he says, suck my finger. And I think Blizzard, as he clatters the back of the Mercedes not once but twice, says, I will be sucking more than your finger, mate, at the end of this race. No, we won't. That's disgusting. We'll calm down. Gamer finally gets the move done. It's lap 23 and he's finally got past Colgate Supreme. Will Sensodyne Rapid Relief come back at him? I'm not too sure. Here he comes. Is he going to go around the outside? Blizzard, he's angry. You don't like Blizzard when he's angry. Gamer says, you know what, mate, have a bit of curb, and Blizzard's trying to ram it. Oh, look at the no cojones. Not a single bit of cojones within these drivers' cockpits. They're all over the place. Thrills and spills as we enter lap 23 of the Catalunya Grand Prix here at Spain. And look at this man, Lickle. Big C. Joining the train. That orange helmet seen throughout the entirety of the season, seen throughout the entirety of PSGL history as a symbol of the greatest ever driver to ever grace a circuit. But guess what? He's washed up now. But he's doing a really good job out there on the wet tyres, because he is very, very poor in these conditions, but he is doing a very good job down there in P number 9. Looking to get a P number 8, I think, soon.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a bit of my Chinese, so you can take over if you want for a bit.
Yeah, I'm just watching the back of the battle for third. Lambo, Alfie, Onyx, 4-car trainers. Onyx almost loses out in the final quarter. And Lambo looks like he has good enough straight line speed to really hold on to this. Sparks is getting close to the slipstream, but when it comes to the braking zone, he's nowhere near. That's just due to Lambo's straight line speed, but Sparks is all over that inside curb. He's desperately trying to find a way past Lambo. Lambo's getting a bus behind him. He hasn't been at his best this season so far as Lambo, but these are the positions he would like to be seeing himself fighting for. P3.
Yep.
A very good job.
I have to agree with you, Lickle. He is defending like a madman, I think people would say. Obviously, it's hard enough as it is to get side by side with some of these drivers, let alone actually pass them. And Lambo fighting tooth and nail, maybe very, well, it was very dirty on Alfie Ollie. As Alfie picks up a 3-second penalty, which is going to be crucial during this race. And, when you're in a train of cars like that, it is crucial. There is obviously Odems and Jay at the front. They're obviously battling, but, well, they're not really battling, are they? Just kind of following each other around. We will go on board with that if it does get any closer coming down the straight. But this is where you want to be. The battle for number 3. P number 3. That's the battle that we're watching at the moment, with the likes of Max Verstappen, Lance Stroll, Nico Hulkenberg and Kimi Raikkonen perfectly in a line. Actually, no, swap that. Max Verstappen, swap that to Pierre Gasly, because this could actually be a real life scenario, because Pierre is terrible. And you know what? Pierre's gone, sacked, demoted, get him out. Best decision I've ever seen in Formula 1 history. Sparks looking up the inside, but not going to take it. Just outside of this race, and we're going to go into the realm of real F1. Actually, are we? Because Alfie's looking very, very competitive going through turn number 3. Yep, we're going to go into the real realm, Lickle. What do you think of the move with Alex Albon to Red Bull Racing? What's your opinions on that?
I feel like the move was needed to get Gasly out of that Red Bull, but I just feel like it's going to be the exact same as Gasly. It's not enough experience in my opinion. When he's had his chance, I still think Kvyat should have got that over him because of the experience he's had in that Red Bull before.
Yeah, I have to agree. I love Alex Albon. London born Alex Albon, so technically a Brit from Thailand, originally family based. I do believe that's why he does wear the Taiwanese flag, if that's how you pronounce it, or he is Taiwanese, something like that. But anyway, that man, a very nice guy, very cheerful man, but when it comes to actual F1 experience, like you say, as we see yellow flags in Sector 2, who has gone off? Who has gone off? Anybody? No? Okay, nobody's gone off. But yellow flags for no reason in Sector 2. But yeah, like you say, I'd probably prefer... Kvyat has had his chance, but I think he's just got the credentials and the cojones more than good old Alex Albon. So, I don't know, it's up to the helmet, isn't it? Good old helmet.
Yeah. Something I haven't been picking up on. I've not obviously had the commentary on during the race, but through that final chicane, Odem seems to be not even bothering to take it. It was just, from what I saw last time, going right over him, corner cutting and getting away with it. Not sure if that be a recurring thing for you or... No, oh, Bliss is in the wall!
Oh!
Turn 3!
Oh no! So Blizzard, thank you for picking up on it. Lickle was just going on board with Odems just to see if he was going to cut it. But Blizzard, we actually will go on board with Odems just to see if he does cut it. Blizzard, summing up his race really, he's been going down the field. He started P number 3. Qualifying performance in the dry was a fantastic lap from himself, but in the wet he's been absolutely nowhere. We're going to watch Odems now. Yeah, look at that.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, 3-second time penalty. So Odems finally falling victim to his own conniving schemes People will argue if you can get away with it, then everyone should do it, but that's not in the rules of Formula 1. I'll try and pick up on it as much as possible throughout the race, but when there's a battle like this going on for P number 3, Alfie has made a fantastic recovery. Onyx has dropped off the back, clearly not having the pace or the tyre grip compared to these guys. Will Sparks make a move? No. So Sparks needs to really force India past the Red Bull. He's trying everything to get the traction needed, but he just can't. Alfie's the faster driver, Lickle.
Yeah, Alfie's going to be furious with that thing with Lambo. He could have been ahead of Sparks. I could have been ahead of Lambo, but because of that simple pusher, he's dropped behind Sparks, and he just got a low bit of pace. I want to see what he could do if he can get ahead of him. Could he possibly just go after him? I know he really wouldn't catch a top 2, but let's see what his pace would be like in relation to Jake Dixon. Yes,
yeah, I do. Yeah, I agree profusely with you, Lickle. I think Alfie is the 3rd quickest driver out there currently in the wet, and he's putting in an absolute stellar performance from P number 5. Currently P number 5. Will it be more than that? We're not too sure. Just having a look at the Sparks now. He's really outbroke himself into the hairpin. Can't capitalise. Alfie just a bit too far behind. But everybody's struggling on tyres. This is where Alfie comes into play. He's really strong anyway, but when the tyres start dying, Alfie knows how to preserve these wet tyres, and this is what gained him a few positions in the latter stages of the first stint. Alfie is really good on these worn tyres. We're going to see Odems and Jacotex. Is Odems going to make a lunge? He is! He's going to make a lunge into turn 1! Here comes Odems! I know where he's going to push Jay off the track! Jay's had to take to the go. Oh, and Odems nearly lost the back end going into turn number 3. Odems though, a late lunge out of nowhere. Jacotex definitely wasn't expecting that from 4 tenths behind. Odems gets the move done and has Jacotex wasted the one opportunity for the race win. I'm not too sure. Odems and these two look equal on pace throughout the entire race, but Odems is definitely better in the latter stages of the races. As we see yellow flags in sector 1. Oh, Onyx is gone! Onyx is round! Just going to go on board with Big C. Is Big C going to get Onyx? He comes back on the track nearly in front of the Mercedes and nearly takes him out. But Big C in the wet weather up to P number 7. You've not seen scenes like this for years. Big C keeping it on the track, keeping his head, and look where it's getting him. Some valuable points. That's what you like to see. Alfie dropping off the back of this group now. I think he's just trying to get a bit of hers back, keep his composure, and probably attacking again down the straight. As we see Odems and Jacotex continue the pursuit.
That's ridiculous from what it's every lap I've spotted it, but interestingly, can Odems gain that 2.5 seconds needed now? He's half second ahead, he's got that 3-second penalty. I haven't seen Jacotex pop up with a penalty. So Odems has got to get that cap to 3 seconds if Jacotex doesn't have a penalty. If he could do it with about 5 laps to go, got to wait and see really. I think Jacotex still has the best chance of winning this race.
Yeah, it has to be said. Jacotex hasn't really put a foot wrong in this race. He's definitely come back from the misery of a couple of races ago. China, misery, FP. He ended up leaving the FP scene after a torrid performance. I think he was in the Alfa Romeo that day as well. Good old Jay. No, he wasn't actually. He was in the Williams. I do apologise. He was in the Williams and FP, and he ended up leaving the league because he had enough. So, bit of a shame there. As we see Blizzard picking up a 3-second time penalty. Is Ash in range? No. So that penalty won't really matter. As we go on board with Sparks nearly losing the rear end, and Alfie has dropped off the back, Lickle. So has Alfie given up the ghost? Has he put in all the effort he can and got nothing out of it?
I don't know really. Could he be just conserving, maybe just cooling down the engine temps so he can be stuck behind those cars for so long? I don't know. He's also got that 3-second penalty with Gamer behind. There's only 2.2, and I know Gamer quite well. I've raced it quite a while now. He doesn't usually get penalties, so I think Alfie could drop to P6 here from what could have been a well-deserved P3. He's going to be furious.
Yeah, you've got to take your chances when you get them in Formula 1 and if in the F1 league. And to be honest, I think at the end of the day, Alfie's not put a foot wrong, and it's other people's mistakes that have cost him the position. So Alfie, like you say, will be furious under that helmet, but he's got to maintain calm and he's got to try and push. There's 4 laps remaining in this race, and he's got the pace and the power as Onyx picks up a 3-second penalty, which doesn't even matter because he's not even near anybody. Just going to check the chat. I know Demon earlier wanted that Red Bull. He was on about it. I didn't see the comment, but too busy stuffing my face full of duck to even to be able to pay attention.
There's no overtakes. That's what I don't like about Spain in general. Spain, you can't really overtake. And when it's raining, it's even worse. Just one, like 2 big trains, and that's it. It's definitely, if I was that director of this league, I'd be getting this track off the calendar. I wouldn't want to see it again for the 2019 game.
Yeah, I do have to. I know I've been agreeing with you a lot recently, but I do have to agree again. You talk a lot of sense, Lickle, and I have to agree. Yeah. If I saw this track on the calendar again, I think I'll be sick. We see yellow flags in Sector 2.
Onyx.
Oh, he's binned it again. Has he got a wing? Has he got a wing? The camera angle's not telling me. Has he got a wing?
Yeah, he does.
He has a wing. Okay, so Onyx, like Blizzard's nowhere near, really, so it doesn't really matter. But if he was going to pit, then I don't know. Let's just ignore that. We don't care. We honestly don't care.
Look at Gamer. Look at Gamer. He's catching. That gap has come down by a lot again. Look how Alfie getting out of that spray as well. Really, it's not going his way at the moment. He just Gamer seems the quickest out of these lot at the moment. To be honest with you. Got a late charge.
Yeah, Gamer not really been on form this race. Same with you, Lickle. Probably not showing the best of performance. I know you've had your wheel issues, but Gamer not been one of the best races for him. Has to be said. He's not really been on the pace, but like you say, conserving the tyres, keeping out of trouble, and he's maybe there. I don't think there's enough time for him to make a charge, but maybe if anybody makes a mistake, he's going to be there. Tries to double up shift. If you saw that through turn number 5. And obviously it's not as effective in the wet weather conditions because the revs are so low, you just can't get the traction or the oomph through some of these corners. But just having a look at the comments, Sophie asks, did he cut to get a run down the straight? I believe he did, Sophie. Demon says, Big C for the win. Another Big C fan right there, good old Demon. Must be a nightmare, says Game Freaker, to do the race around Spain in full wet. I couldn't agree anymore. That man, whoop variste. That man does talk a lot of sense. I do love a bit of whoop whoop down there in F4 with myself, battling it out. Oh. JP thinking the same as me. Connor fan in the chat. Just having a look through as well. But yeah, it's not been the cleanest of races. I mean, the most jam-packed as races, I should say. It's just been a bit stale Dale.
Yeah, Onyx almost losing it. It's been a disappointing debut for VSR for Onyx. He's getting the pressure on his VSR debut, clearly. Not to what he should be doing.
Yeah, all these brands, sponsorship deals, all these esports teams. But when you bottle it, you bottle it. And it doesn't matter what your name is. If you bottle it, you bottle it. You could be called LR, VSR, LRT, ILR, who cares? At the end of the day, you're still the same bottle job. And you're still doing a terrible job.
I'm just watching this battle for the leads. Nothing's really happening. Oh, Odin's so wide. That severely hampers his run.
Oh,
I think he got a bit on the outside. I think he got a bit on the outside of that chicane there. And really, once you got on the outside, it hampers your run. But Jakesex still got a chance to get past. If I was Jakesex, I'd just sit behind because you don't have a penalty. Odins does, and even with that straight left, he's got no chance of getting past Odins. He's like a rocket on the straight. Was that Williams driver?
Yeah, like you say, I don't think Jay will know that Odoms is a penalty. So Jay will be looking to try and get past by the end of the lap. He's going to be fighting this Alfa Romeo as hard as he possibly can to wring out the last bit of performance it has left, because Odems is leaving the door wide open, and as long as Jay keeps it on the track, he will become the race winner. I don't believe Jay has got a penalty this Grand Prix. Odems has been accused by Lickle for dodgy corner cutting. We have seen it on the stream. Whether the stewards will have a look at it and demote him further, we will wait and see. But we're in the here and now. We're on the final lap of the race, and Lickle take us through the final sector with this duo of cars.
Yeah, well, the VSR Marco Series is going to be the man leading across the line. Whether he will be once the final results are out, I don't know. I haven't checked JTEC's penalties, but screw those penalties. Odebs did quite a stellar drive from him and JTEC's about 18 seconds ahead of their next rivals. Both of them have been on top of the world here. I would like to see what Louis could have done if he was here. Maybe more three-way fight, but Odems is out of the final corner to win the Spanish Grand Prix, but JTEC takes it due to time penalties.
Yeah, congratulations to Jacob Tex and congratulations to Odems on a very impressive performance. Unlucky for Odems, he couldn't win on track, but at the end of the day, when you cut corners, you pay the price, as I know very well. As we go down to VSR Lambo, who does pick up P3 from Sparks, and Alfie loses P5 and comes home in a miserable P6 due to penalties. Big C comes across the line at P7, Onyx will take P8, Blizzard P9, and Ash Best, the last runner in this race. He's had an awful afternoon. He's raced by himself throughout the entirety of this Grand Prix, but we're going to give him some love. We're going to give him the spotlight for the final couple of corners, because this man has carried on through thick and through thin. Ash Best comes home to take what's a memorable, it's a fantastic P10.
Do you do podiums or? Oh yeah, you do.
Oh yeah, of course I do podiums. I want to hear their thoughts, and I'm going to get Alfie in as well because I want to hear his opinion. What we'll do before that though is driver of the day, Lickle. I know you didn't see all the race, but
Jacob Tex.
Jacob Tex, driver of the day. Driver of the day. Driver of the day. Driver of the day. For the sake of diversity, I think Sparks really did put in a good performance. I think he was quicker than Lambo. I think if it was dry, would have got past. And a shout out to Alfie as well. His pace was really good. But anyway, let's get the podium interviews sorted. Let's invite some of these drivers. Do you have them as well, Lickle? Yeah, good man. Good man. Make sure to invite Alfie as well. I just want a quick word from him. They all have mics, don't they? Yeah. Well, while we wait for these guys to join the party, we've already discussed driver of the day. We've already been through who we thought has performed well, and we've already been through who's probably not performed the greatest. And we do have someone joining straight away. So welcome, Alfie. How are you? You alright?
A bit annoying.
A bit annoyed is the first response. Yeah, make sure your voice is shared before we start. Thank you, Lickle. We will start with you, Alfie, because I just wanted a brief comment from yourself due to the battles that were happening out on track. So is your voice shared, Alfie?
Yeah.
Well, from my perspective, I'll lead the questions off. From my perspective, you were pretty stellar out there. Your pace was probably on par with the top two. I think if you got past Lambo, you would have been on the charge and it would have been a guaranteed P3. Very difficult qualifying for yourself, but the one thing everybody wants to know that we saw on stream was the move, from my perspective, from Lambo was disgusting to push you off the road. But I just want to get your opinions on it and how you feel about 6th place.
Well, I did tap him a tiny bit coming into the final chicane. I think I unsettled his car a little bit, which, well, I was running a wet shot, so my straight line speed was terrible. I don't know what Lambo was running, but he definitely had the super straight line speed. But I managed to get side by side. I backed out into turn 1. He kind of went deep, so I thought, oh, I'll try it around the outside of turn 2. I don't know if on the screen, but I got an incredible run around the outside. I was going to be in front of him by turn 3. But, you know, Lambo doing Lambo type things, decides that I deserve a trip to the beach and puts me in the gravel. But, and if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have got that penalty because I was pushing to try and catch back up. And because of the dirty air, the tyres are heated.
Yeah, so what do you think of, at the end of all that, a P6? What's your thoughts?
Well, I definitely could have got a podium, so I'm a bit annoyed like that. But the pace was incredible. I made a really good move on, who was it? Blizzard, I think. I mean, he didn't leave me much room, so through turn 3 I decided not to leave him much room. And I managed to get that overtake done. And yeah, P6, it's not really the best, but yeah, good that it's positive that I can show my pace, considering I wasn't even expected to be in F1 before the evaluation race.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, unlucky. As Nickel dropped something. Unlucky for the P6. I think you did deserve the podium. Your pace was fantastic. Anything from you, Nickel, on the incident?
Have you got a mess? Oh, on the incident? No, but I have something else.
Okay.
Have you got a message for any of those people out there who thought you didn't deserve an F1 seat?
Well, no. I think I do my talking on the track, Edward. Clearly, I mugged a few people off. Would have mugged Lambo off, but you know, Lambo is Lambo. So I think my driving shuts down all the hating.
Well, very strong words. Thank you very much, Alfie. Obviously a P6, a bit of commiserations, but cheers anyway.
Thank you.
And Odems, I think, is the next one up, because the other two haven't joined, so excellent. Yeah, you got your voice shared, Odems? P1 on track, P2 in the race. Just thoughts, first of all, with your performance.
Passed him until I already had a penalty from pushing.
Yeah. Bit of a shame I actually wasn't on the game then, so nobody heard anything you said. So that's a bit of a shame, so sorry about that. But yeah, like you say, Odems, your performance was actually mega. You say you weren't quick in the wet, and you're probably the fastest man on the track from 90% in that Grand Prix. I know Jay had some crazy pace, but Jay has a consistent, you know, policy of overheating the tyres, and obviously the last stages of the race you seemed to come alive and you were, you know, fantastic. Lickle did notice, because obviously Lickle joined the comms because he retired from the race because he just had an absolutely awful afternoon, but he did notice a few corner cuts. Lickle, do you want to say anything about that towards Odems? I think you had a question ready, didn't you?
Yeah, I had one question ready. Where the final corner on stream, because you're lagging a little, your car was moving all over the place. For me anyway. Was you cutting that inside at the what was it, exit of the chicane? Because that gave you quite a big advantage.
Well, first off, until Connor explicitly says, if I see anyone cutting in this corner, I'm gonna give them a penalty. I'm gonna cut the corner. So but I don't really think, because I couldn't get good traction after cutting the corner because the curb would just blow me up. So I don't actually think he gained me anything, but it just ended up being my natural line. The eventual penalty I got, you'll see, was me going wide on that corner, like the exit of that corner, going wide, losing time, and got a warning.
Yeah, look, well, like Lickle says, he's noticed anything suspicious. I saw it a few times, but if it's allowed, it's allowed. I'll leave it up to the stewards. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Whether people take it further is their choice, really. But obviously, a bit disappointing with that penalty because you were the best man on track. You finished first, and you had the pace. It's Canada next. What are your thoughts on Canada?
Terrible track. For racing, like, I like the track itself, but just for racing, it's just awful. It's too narrow. It's just not even about pure pace. It's just about corner cutting, and obviously I'm very terrible at that. So not looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is one of them tracks that looks good on paper, but when you actually race it, it's not really the best, is it? A lot of traction zones and it's just a bit of crap. But anyway, Lickle, anything else from you, or we're going to wrap this stream up because Lambo doesn't want to join and Jay doesn't want to join, so.
Just congratulations on the P2. Good drive.
Yeah, like I said, congratulations to the P2. Great performance from yourself. Unlucky to Alfie, P6, and shout out to Spox as well, because Spox had a really good race. I think the stewards will investigate Lambo due to the incident, but we will leave that to them. But yeah, GG. Tune in next week to Canada.
Did you guys catch my move on Jay? It'd be a nice one, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, down the inside, 4/10 back. Just lunged it. Yeah, you didn't see it coming. He had no ERS, so it was a bit hard for him. I don't know why. He had like 10% or whatever, and you just went for it. But yeah, it was the highlight of the race because nothing else happened. It's boring. But anyway, let's wrap this up. Tune in next week for Canada. Congratulations to the top 3, and yeah, see you in a bit. Bye.
Adios.